Blacks. No matter what happens, don't snitch. Also blacks. It's wrong that white people and cops cover up for bad actors. So this is a thought I had. I have a separate video talking about ratting. I think I was talking about Tekashi 69 and the reaction that people were getting towards him. He's some rapper. He might have moved. His parents might have moved from Mexico, but he's Latino in ethnicity. So it's not necessarily, but he's still part of urban culture. He was living in Brooklyn and things like this. And anyway, he got involved with some dicey actors, some suspect people, some gangsters, some OGs, some triple OG, triple dog OG, or whatever they call themselves out there. Some gangsters in the Brooklyn area, in the whole rap movement. So he was actually apparently living what he was rapping. He was keeping it real. And then he got caught up. There was, I think, full-on FBI, like high-level sting operation on his whole organization. And he got caught up. And he was in court for some time. I think he's been released now. Yeah, he's been released now. I think he released a video recently. But anyway, I was talking about the ratting thing. How with him, there was that thing in ratting culture, in black culture about ratting. Rats. It's not just black culture. And that's what I'm going to talk about here. As it goes further. Because it's also like snitches get stitches. I think that comes more from urban culture. But the whole idea of rats, that isn't something that is unique to black culture. Even that term rats, I think it used to come... I think the first time I heard the rat thing was like the mafia thing. And then I was watching this other thing. Watching some American greed and corruption type of things. And I have talk about that in separate occasions. But there was one specifically where they were talking about one Jewish guy. And they said there was a term called Moser. I think it's Moser for Hebrew for informer. And in that situation, you get excommunicated from your actual community if you do that. And they explained that was due to the long history of Jews being persecuted by authorities. So you're not supposed to speak to the authorities. That's a regular thing. This is a regular thing that happens. But my specific thing I'm talking about here is in black culture, they specifically know, in hood culture, gangster culture, this kind of people, they know there are people who do things that are wrong. But they say, even if that person does something that's wrong, don't talk to the authorities about it. Don't snitch. Yes, even if you're not involved in it, it's not just directly like the mafia type of thing, like we're all in this together as criminals, so we don't snitch on each other. There is something that goes further. Apparently, if somebody comes and shoots somebody else, your neighbor or something, and you see it, and you have nothing to do with it, you might have even been friends with that neighbor. Your kid might have been in that house, but then the bullet was not intended for him, so your kid wasn't shot. You're not supposed to talk to the police, to the po-po, about that. And it is absurd. To me, it's an absurd thing. I was talking about also how snitching, I think, is part of what has built civilization. How the fact that like people were like, okay, we're going to snitch on each other because that's wrong. And then by snitching, you actually get the things that are wrong, get the people that are doing bad things out of the way, and just, if you don't snitch, how does correction happen? If you don't actually report something being wrong, how does correction happen? If you don't actually report what has actually happened in a situation, how do you engage in something like the scientific process? Or just, there's many things about it, and I don't know when I'm going to do the reading of it. I might do the reading of it. There's this list from the African American Museum by the Smithsonian about things that are white culture. I don't know if some kind of version of snitching will be in there. But anyway, so there's a lot of projection that happens in this situation. They say, in our community, in our in-group, we don't snitch on members on the in-group to members of the out-group. No matter what they do, we're not supposed to snitch. And then they turn around with hypocrisy and they say, it's wrong that white people seem to look out for white people more. If a white person has done something wrong against a black person, or the white person will just look out and pretend or deny or say, no, that didn't happen in the past. What are you talking about? That has nothing to do with us. Or the cops themselves. This one is for sure we see with the police unions and these things where there's a lot of evidence, and I think this is a garbage situation. I am against public sector unions because they already have a monopoly on those sectors that they normally have these unions in, or a massively unfair advantage due to them having the backing of the state to keep others, to regulate people out of it, set certain boundaries for actual competition and actual clarity. to the actual situation. So it's a mess up situation. But anyway, the cops do this. Now it's gotten better than it was in the past, but I've seen other locations. I've lived outside of the United States of America. I'm right here in Nairobi, Kenya. They don't have a very vocal police union that I'm aware of. At least the police are not as influential as they are in certain other countries that I've lived in. I know the teachers' union here is quite vocal and quite influential. But back to the point. In groups, tribes, these kind of things, they are mostly defined about the lies people tell rather than the truths they tell. Because you're part of that black community that's not supposed to snitch. If you can lie, you can say, oh no, that didn't happen. What do you mean, officer? What do you mean that person? No, that person didn't shoot that person. Because if it's just the truth, anybody who could just see what happened and just be like, yeah, that's what's happened. We're just telling you, yes, this person shot that person. I saw it. And that's for everyone. But that's just anyone can do that. Somebody in the in-group will have those extra definitions, extra reasons to actually not say anything. So just how it is with the police. If the police, you have a lot of things in media and TV shows and it actually plays out in real life. Oh, this person actually hurt a policeman. This person actually shot a policeman. So we're going to go and double up our actual efforts to actually getting this person, to getting this criminal, to catching this person. Because they're looking out for their in-group. It is an extra level where, it's like, and that thing has always disturbed me because I'm like, what, are you putting half-ass? Are you guys half-assing it? You guys have extra level? You guys have an extra level of actual investigation, of actual like enforcement, of actual policing that you only save for fellow policemen, but for like regular human beings and regular citizens, you're just like, we'll just give 60%. Now that we have a policeman, we'll put that extra boost. Anyway, so this is something that happens. You see that whole thing I just talked about there at the end, you also see it, where it's like you've seen it recently. Oh, you're talking about what's happening with the Jews, with anti-Semitism? Oh, no, that's not for us. When it's something that affects us, when it's something like the George Floyd that affects our community, we're going to go to extra level to fight against activism. Normally, we're just like, we're only against racism like 60%. But when it's something that is my in-group, all of a sudden I'm going to upgrade it to like the 100%. That could be a different shorty in and of itself. So just this one. Again, I am against the snitches. If you do something evil or wrong around me, chances are I'm going to snitch on you. So I said this in the 6ix9ine video. Don't come around me doing things that are wrong. I'm going to tell. Because I don't like wrong stuff. I don't like the wrong garbage stuff. Now you can get to know me and get to establish what I think is wrong or not, what I think should be legal or not. But once you get to that point, you come around me and you shoot somebody from some drug deal or something. I'm snitching. I'm telling. You're not gonna have any of that like me just taking the bullet for you. No. You get in a situation where you're actually trying to get somebody who's done something wrong, or just try to you do that whole thing like in that Dave Chappelle skit, and you sprinkle some cocaine on somebody, and I see you, I'm telling. No, you're not supposed to do that. You can find things that are wrong about these people. There might be a few situations where I think like, okay, on one side, if you're in my community and I know somebody is a pedophile and has abused children, and I see you like punch that person or shoot that person, I might just find other things. I won't lie for you, but I might just choose not to say anything. If you're somebody who's a police person and you're catching somebody, and then I know this person's a pedophile, I know this person has abused children, and you come in and we don't have the direct evidence of that, but you sprinkle some cocaine on the stuff, I might just look the other way. So I guess I understand. So in this one, in what I'm saying is the hypocrisy here. I don't know if people are just lying, but people get why the don't snitch thing in that community. Yet they still seem to be so shocked at the collectivism from other groups. I am against that collectivism. Let's get to the point where we're in one larger community of individuals where we realize it benefits all of us to be as in tune with and aware of reality as possible, and just raise the level of trust that we have within communities, within people, within individuals, and I think it'll be okay. But this whole idea of people not telling on bad actors that are within their in-group, that is a common thing that is done by humans, and I'm not quite sure if it's led to more positive things than negatives. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know what you think. Till next time, like, share, subscribe. Links to merchandise store somewhere around here. Goodbye.